You say welcome back.
Welcome back.
6-inch gray gizzard shad. Gonna add a little bit of glue. Come on, baby. Yeah. So I get a lot of questions about gluing eyeballs on. Super simple, y'all. You need some Loctite gel control that has like this little squeeze containers so that you can put a very precise dot in the eyeball socket, and you can do it very clean. Okay, and we're just going to set the eye in. Boom. Just like that. Yeah. Look at that. 6-inch gray gizzard. What a beautiful color. Got a whole set of them on the table. We've got a bunch of molds full of goodies. And welcome to today's World's Worst Fishing Lure Making TV bait blog. Thomas Lang Drumming live stream is a Saturday morning tradition here in the Fish Cave. Little 4-inch green color shift shad, that is Dip Your Car ZTG on top. That is dead shift 24 karat for the vein, and then just clear dead on plastic swim bait blend for the bottom there. Yeah, that's in the AI 4-incher. This little guy right there. Alright everybody, Chris Jones here. Welcome back to the World's Worst Fishing. I think my son Landon already told y'all that. But like you've kind of seen already, we're doing a bait blog this weekend. We have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of baits to pour, and then I kind of want to have some fun, right? I want to take a break from just pouring orders and just make something that I want to make. I don't know what that's going to be yet. Yeah, no, I really don't. I have no idea what that's going to be, so we'll have those as bonus baits. I got another set of 5-inchers to show you guys. That's a really cool recipe. We might take a look at this one as well. I've had a lot of questions about it. Super simple. Just, it's all about the execution. It's an easy color, but you gotta pour it right. You gotta pour it clean. You gotta have your temperatures down, or else you won't get this effect. So with that said, we're just gonna kind of keep going, jump right in. Thanks to everyone for liking and subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the channel, help us get to 90,000, and then from there, hopefully one day we hit 100. But we are very, very close. So again, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We've got some molds heating up, and we're gonna take you guys along. So here we go. So something y'all may have seen recently is that Dead On Plastics kind of had to switch over from totally blackout buckets to now, I guess, two-tone buckets. So now the sinking black label plastic, you can see over here, black sinking plastisol. They're now going to be in a white bucket with a black lid. So you can still kind of visually differentiate whether you're using the floating stuff or the sort of the more original black label sinking. But anyway, this is our first one, so I picked up a bucket of swim bait, jerk bait blend in the black label stuff, and now it just has a two-tone bucket. Okay, so here's one that I came up with recently, and I call it Golden Green Shiner, okay? And I've made a lot of colors like this before with emerald green veins, but essentially this is the recipe, right? It's just 3 things. It's 24 karat gold shift, a little bit of black as a base for that, and then LureWorks emerald green. Okay, so that's just Dead On Plastic swim bait black label blend, the plastic from the bucket we were just looking at. That is 3 drops of LureWorks emerald green per 1/2 cup of plastic. Okay, so whenever I measure out my vein plastic, I measure it to the 1/2 cup. I don't use all of it, but that's just kind of, oh, sorry. My bad, everyone. A quarter cup, okay? So I measure out my vein plastic to 1/4 cup, not a 1/2 cup. Excuse me. So that is 3 drops of plastic per 1/4 measuring cup, all right? And then for the top, I just scoop out some 24 karat gold shift, just kind of to taste. And then I usually add 1 to 2 drops of black to just kind of bring out that effect, okay? And that's all it is. But to talk a little bit about the philosophy of a good hand pour. If we look at this one, you can see how the vein just kind of fades out to the back, and then it just blends very evenly, right? If you just look at that, you don't see a super hard distinct line. You see an even line, but it blends, it fades. There's a color gradient, and part of that is not oversaturating colors, and then the other half is temperature. The way I get the plastic to behave in such a way that it just kind of fades into oblivion, right? You can see how it almost comes to a point, right? If we look at that green vein, it almost just stops. It just comes to a point. That's temperature. That's not me doing anything weird or special or, it's not alien technology. Same here, okay? If we look, and I'll try, this is all very hard to focus on. If we look at the eyeball socket really closely, the vein also kind of comes to a point. And the way that I've found that you can blend these layers more evenly is with proper temperature. So you can see I've got my hot plate here set to 285 for this set of 4 inchers. That's actually a little bit hot, okay? So we're gonna bump it down. We're gonna bump it down to 265, okay? So for the 4-inch mold, a smaller size plate, I can get away with a little bit lower temperature. The 5-inch plate, I wanna live around between 270 and 280. Which one you choose kind of doesn't matter. But I would generally pour these at 275, closer to 275 than 265. And what that allows for is proper thermal blending and thermal bonding. So you have a bait that's not going to peel apart, and then you get these smooth gradients of color. And to me, that's what separates a great pour from just an average pour. And there again, recipe speaking, this is as easy as it gets. This is you almost cannot get easier. 3 pigments and half the bait is just solid clear, right? Literally half the bait is of no color whatsoever. What makes it great is the execution, and one of the things that I really pay close attention to is trying to pour my belly to the correct height. That way my vein is perfectly even with the center of the eyeball socket, okay? What I don't want is for my vein to be a little bit below the eyeball or maybe too high above it. And I don't get it right every time, but these came out about as perfect as I can pour them given my current skill set. And that's something that I really want to pay attention to. I want the vein to stop in the eye socket. I want to stop it in the tail. Now you can bring it further down. These are tail poured. But those to me are what sets a pour apart. This is not a particularly challenging recipe. Again, it's just 3 things. But it's the execution of the pour that a bait like this can get so much attention and customers will want to buy it, is when it's executed properly. So not to get too philosophical, but to me, so much of hand pouring, especially what I see from maybe people who are new, is their colors are pretty good, right? They still need, those years of experience to mature in their color building, but the execution is where they lack, and it generally comes from a lack of understanding of temperature, which I do have a couple videos just dedicated to that. So anyway, that was kind of a long, drawn-out thing, and for that I apologize. Well, it might not look like there's anything going on, but all the bellies are in. There's a clear plastic from the tail all the way to the heads. As you can see there, it's kind of hard to see, but that's the point. Yeah. And now for the 24 shift vein. Alright, so longtime viewers of my channel have seen me pour a lot of veins. But let's see if we can pour one perfect for you guys, which is what we try and do all the time. We may have to zoom out because what happens is this gets in frame and then that goes out of focus. But essentially I like to start kind of towards the back of the tail. Right? And just let gravity do the work, okay? Just let gravity and temperature do the work. Okay, and I want to stop the vein right there. Okay? Because what's going to happen is it's going to continue flowing north towards the head. Okay? So if we just watch that, you can see it's getting closer and closer to the eye socket. And the temperature of the mold is actually going to pull it, okay? So this is all thermal blending and thermal layering, okay? I only poured maybe 1.5 inch section of this vein, and as you can see, the temperature of the mold pulled it in each direction. Some of that's probably inertia, you know, and just the physics of the motion of the plastic spreading out, but it will not do that smooth and with that kind of color gradient without temperature. Okay, so all the veins are in, so now let's kind of critique my own work here, all right? Those first couple veins are looking really good, right? The vein stopped where I wanted it to, okay? You can see this one, it went a little far up into the head. That one went a little bit far. That one there looks good, that one looks good. That one went a little far, and the one on the end looks perfect, okay? So we maybe had 4 on this row that weren't exactly perfect, okay? This row is actually a little bit better. The vein stopped right there up in the eyeball. Yeah, went a little far on this one, but the rest of them look really good, okay? So only one on that side is not what I would consider a perfect vein. So, you know, as you can see, when you're doing this many cavities, generally there's going to be a few that don't come out perfect, but the idea, the philosophy behind it is to try to keep things as consistent as possible. Okie doke. Now, it always may seem like topping them off is the easy part. You're done with all the hard stuff. Well, yes and no. To really top one off clean, still takes a lot of focus, and there's a lot of times I overpour. I overpour so often that it's kind of embarrassing, you know. I'm supposed to be good at this, you know. People tell me that I'm good at this, and yet I overpour all the time. Yeah. Beautiful though. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. Oh, looking good. Alright, so we have these 6-inch angling AI molds. Those dorks over there. Just kidding, they're not dorks, they're awesome people. Now dead on, yeah, those are dorks. So anyway, we have the 6-inch AI botworm molds laid out here, and this color is a doozy. Alright, so this one's going to be a challenge for 2 reasons. Number 1, I've only ever made it one time. I've never tried to duplicate it. I remember exactly kind of what I did, but some of these things are hard to pull off. You know, a drop or 2 of color in the wrong way may kind of throw the whole effect off. It's really important to have saturations correctly because it's basically a see-through shad colored worm. It's basically what I like to call hologram shad, but in a teeny tiny worm. And the second reason is because it's a 3-layer laminate in such a small cavity. So here we go, wish me luck. Alright, so the top color is a charcoal, so we want just a few drops of black. 2, 3, let's stop there. Gosh, black is so messy. Alright, so we're going to stop there. Just kind of see where that gets us. Right? However, we have to remember that we're going to be pouring a very thin stream of this, okay? Alright? Yeah, that's very thin. Okay, so I think we're going to do 1 more drop of black and call it a day. Alright? So 4 drops of black here. This is measured out to 3/4 of a cup. As you can see, it's still a little jelly-like, so it's not completely through the gel phase of cooking yet. So we're going to pop that back in the microwave for about another 30 seconds. We'll pop it in the vacuum chamber and just make sure we get all the air bubbles out, because this is such a clear color that any little bubble trouble left over is going to be painfully visible. Alright, so in this top color, I did some small black flake, okay? So the .015 stuff. So I did some of that. And then what really made it cool was some small hologram flake. Small hologram flake is amazing stuff. That's just regular silver hologram. It's not sparkle flake. It's just your plain Jane hologram flake, which really isn't so plain Jane at the end of the day. This stuff is still pretty special. And it's almost impossible to get the effect on camera. But anyway, so this is basically the top of the worm, which we have to pour in first. So it's actually the bottom of the cavity, but it'll be the top of the worm. Yeah. Pretty. Zoom in. Look at that. Ooh, yeah. Okie doke, we're gonna try to pour one of these clean on camera. So here we go. Always a challenge. There it is. And I have to pour that pretty shallow because I have to remember that I'm pouring 3 layers into this. Okay. So I can't just fill half the cavity up with this charcoal color, or else I will not be able to fit the vein and then the eventual top color in there. So we're working with very, very thin see-through layers of color here. So just my luck, it just got super windy outside, which is going to make pouring these worms cleanly absolutely hell. So wish me luck there. But in any event, we're going to throw some powder in there. Alright. And then we'll maybe do like 2 drops of black. You can really load up a hyper shift with a black base. You know, you can go 5, 6 drops. You know, just kind of whatever you're wanting it to look like there. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of sort of it. So you can see it's green, it kind of shifts to purple. So you could do hologram shads with a green to purple. You could do it with a green to, I don't know, what else do they have? You know, like this one's sort of like pink and gold. You can kind of do whatever you want. Yeah, so here you can really see the effect. See that? Yeah. Now comes the hard part. Alright, forgive me if I don't show very many of these, because this is hard stuff. But basically, I just want to start the stream, get it in there, and then move it quickly. That way it'll flatten out. Okay? Perfect. Right? And then the temperature, right, the molds, sort of like with the swim bait earlier, will actually flatten this out and pull it to the sides, okay? So basically, I'm just trickling the plastic kind of down the center of the cavity and allowing temperature to basically do the rest, okay? So the temperature of the mold is going to pull that plastic all the way to the edge of the cavity. That way you get that nice triple layer, all right? So again, as you can see, we're just kind of pouring a thin stream down the cavity, all right? Really hard to do on camera, but temperature will kind of clean it up for us. Check that out. You can kind of see the effect there from a angle. Yeah. Alright, they're all in. Painstakingly all in. So if we look carefully here and look closely, you'll see there actually still is room in those cavities for a top layer. Alright, we're going to try to show y'all one of these. Again, this is real. I mean, I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's so difficult. But just want to fill in. Oh God, the wind's blowing. No, see that? See how it just blew the stream everywhere? What was going to be a really clean pour is now garbage. Oh man. Yeah, we could actually use a little bit more. Fill that cavity in. There we go. Just a few drops. Yeah, you know, working in an open garage, when the wind comes howling in, it just blows your stream of plastic from your cup nozzle all over the mold. That's how it should look. And here comes the wind. See? Look at that. Golly. I know it's out of focus, but oh, that's heartbreaking. Alright, it's time for a reveal. So we're going to look at our green color shift shads from earlier, and then we're going to see how these hologram shad botworms turned out. So here we go. Drum roll, please. Dun 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 dun. Let's get a reveal. Oh yeah. It's going to come out on that side. Oh yeah. Here it is. Yeah. Look at that. So, I think we have a very successful pour here. Well, all the lines are blending. The vein is in line, right? Oops, sorry. Horrible camera work. My apologies. The vein is in line with the eyeball socket. It stops where it needs to. Color looks real good. Yeah, look at that. Excellent. Okay, so that worked. I was pretty confident that it would. I've poured it 100 times. All right, so now let's go ahead and pull a few of these hologram worms. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. I definitely don't want to get in the habit of making these all the time because they're a pain, but wow, what an effect. And what a different type of worm. Most people don't think to pour their shad patterns in a worm, but oftentimes, you know, when you're, yeah, look at that effect. Oftentimes when you're fishing schooling fish and they're hitting shad, a lot of times you can throw a worm down below the surface feeders, right? And catch the bigger fish down below the school. And you need something that looks like a shad to take full advantage of that. Look at that. Alright, let's grab another mold, check them out. Then what we'll do is we'll get all of them out and kind of show y'all a group family photo of everything. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Like I said, these are really hard to pour. It's a challenge in every way. It's a challenge to get a good clean triple layer laminate. And then it's also a challenge to fill the cavities all the way, to get them filled right. Because that top layer, that bottom layer technically, but the last one that you pour is clear. And sometimes you'll actually underpour the cavity just because it's so hard to see. So, let's see, yeah. How about that, y'all? Yeah, here's a cool way to look at them. You can kind of see all the different effects. Right, look at them from different angles kind of thing. Yeah, cool. Check that out. Lots of cool stuff happening there. Lots of great effects. Lots of nuance. Won't see another set of worms quite like them. Very, very cool, vivid effect in a very small cavity. So, yeah. Those actually turned out pretty nice. Alright everybody, that's going to wrap up the bait making blog portion of the video. Y'all are here for a special day because I'm cooking German food tonight, which means I have German beer, which means I'm a happy camper. So we're going to be doing German pork shank, known as Schweinehaxen. I'm cooking red cabbage, and we're going to do a mashed potato. So I'm going to show y'all a little bit of that for anyone who wants to stick around and see what we're up to tonight. I'm super excited. I'm not German at all, but hey, I love the beer and I love the food, so that's coming up next. Yeah, this is a real treat. So in Germany, they call this Rotkohl, or Rotkohl. I can't really pronounce it right. But it's red cabbage with green apple, and you basically just kind of boil it on low for an hour and a half, 2 hours with apple cider vinegar, cloves, salt, pepper. So you sweeten it with sugar. So it's kind of like a sweet and sour cabbage. And it goes excellent with pretty much any German meal. And man, the smell is just out of this world good. Hold on.
Huh?
Hold on. We are beering the pork shanks. Yeah, German pork knuckle. Yeah, homemade mashed potatoes and red cabbage. And of course, German beer. Crispy, crispy pork knuckle here. Mmm. Oh my gosh. What?
Blew on your food and blew all over mine.
That is ridiculous. Just a pork hock, pour beer over it, bake it. All right, everyone, I'm stuffed. Get out of here.